We are live. Hey, everybody. We're doing something a little different tonight. Alex, one of our players, is here. And, of course, Brian and Kristen from when we normally do Lawfully Chaotic. But we have a bunch of players off today. The Hollywood sickness seems to be taking hold of everybody. So we're going to do a little review tonight. We're going to spend some time talking about the show so far and some of the aspects of the characters, the leveling up. I know this is Brian's first time playing, so I'm eager to hear his input. And Alex, you came into this game kind of blind as well. You didn't really have much background in Daggerheart either. So
no, I didn't know the rules. I almost
I'm dying. I'm definitely gonna love to hear your thoughts on the rules so far, but. So the Ascendant is a game that I put together specifically for Daggerheart. I use some of their framework activity. And obviously I tend to homebrew all the adversaries because it's just a lot easier for me to maintain the stat blocks and manage the adversary information. Through it.
Lazy.
yeah. Doing more work makes me lazy. You're right. So the idea for me behind putting the Ascendant together was I purposely put it together in a way as a teaching campaign, as well as a campaign to really let the players have fun with their characters. It also introduced us to the idea that we didn't really need to be too tied down to the hardcore mechanics of the game. Like wherever we were finding ourselves kind of slipping with the mechanics, it was like, whatever, do this. It's fine. I think the resource management aspect of the game lets us do that. But we've had 2 sessions already. We had a session 1, which was a 45-minute zero session with launching session 1. Then we did session 2. I'm hoping we can get 3 more sessions in. I built it as a 5 to 6 session campaign. I know we're trying to eventually get back to our normal Lawfully Chaotic season. But since we only had Brian, Kristen, and Alex available tonight, and myself, I thought tonight we would just spend, 45 minutes or an hour talking about the game so far and what everybody thinks of mechanics. I know Kristen's played before. This is Brian's first time playing, and this is Alex's first time ever playing, minus didn't even have nearly the prep as you did have, Brian. Like you are at least, had read some of the books and looked into it, but yeah, Alex had kind of been in the background of it for the longest time.
I only played twice. I played a one-shot to learn how to play, and then I ran the free starter adventure once for my group.
Yeah. So now you've played a third time. So
yeah.
You're the veteran.
You're practically a veteran.
Also, I think, let me just say, I would really like to, given that this is only 5 or 6 sessions, I'd like to play them out. So if we need to push Lawfully Chaotic back a couple of weeks, I don't see an issue with that. So.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Hey, and I know, obviously, the week before, the week during holiday schedules, they get kind of wonky whether you want them to or not. You go into it going, okay, I've got everything planned out. I know exactly what to expect. The next thing you know, the flu hits the house, right? The flu hits the house, wipes out the family, and no one, like me and Callista are trying really hard not to get sick because we leave Sunday night for a 7-day trip up to Vancouver. So we do that every Christmas. That's our yearly trip that we like to make. Her father lives up in Vancouver, so
bring some healing potions with you,
dude. I like when I go to the bathroom, the pee water is bright orange from drinking.
TMI, Jason. TMI.
Drinking copious
and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Drinking copious amounts of emergency. Like I'm having 2 packets a day right now.
Right.
But what's even worse,
your body is nothing but a bag of clear water right now.
All you need to do is shove a hose in my ass and turn me upside down.
Oh boy.
And I could work in a hospital. Well, the worst part is I get up this morning I found out that it's going to rain here finally, but it's going to rain Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and a little and maybe beyond. But I won't be here for it. So I'm out in the ranch acreage. I'm doing like a shit ton of chores to get ready. So on top of having to get ready for the rain gutters and like all that crap, right? I'm like, it was 88 degrees today, bro.
Nice.
88.
Oh,
Like
good show. I'm sorry for you there. You got such nice warm weather.
I refuse to ever live again where it snows.
Fuck you.
I hate snow.
It's miserable here today. Although it was warmer, it was about 45 here, but now, so all the snow that we got melted, and now there are just piles of muddy leaves everywhere. And it was raining all day, and it was gray, and it was like
gross.
I felt like I was living Curse of Strahd today.
Yeah, that sounds very Barovia.
Southern California has set a new record all of the month of December. Every day in the month of December, we've set new records. No, for sun, for heat.
For heat.
They're technically saying we're in a heat wave right now. They're actually calling it a heat wave at the moment because it got up to 88.
Seriously?
Yep.
Holy shit.
It got up to 88. Because they're allowed to call it a heat wave if you have a certain number of days
over normal, right?
Or over normal. And we have been in record heat for 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks. So crazy. My poor winter experimented garden looks like it just looks awful from the heat. Just looks awful. You know?
Well, the good news is Daggerheart.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I've really been enjoying playing it. I'm going to give one little concern I've had that I've played it a lot so far. I've been very lucky to play the game a lot. The only concern I have, and I'll be interested in your guys' take as you talk about your characters and your thoughts on the character process, as well as the game mechanic process, because the game mechanic is a lot easier for me than it is for you. It really is. I mean, my resource management's more simplified.
Well,
all I have to do
is
more simplified. Yeah, I mean, I spend fear, stress, and armor like you do, but the nice thing is stress and armor are just special abilities that the adversaries have, right? I mean, that's really all they are. Or the way you can leverage their special abilities. But I am a little concerned.
I gotta let the dog out.
Whoa, this is a family show, bro.
Hey, I still didn't get to see the dog. Now he's gone.
Well, when he comes back in, I'll show him. Since this is free for him tonight, you know.
Okay.
I'm breaking the fourth wall. It's right back there. The fourth wall's right back there.
While other people have done certain reviews and have kind of criticized certain aspects of the game mechanic, there's one particular review that really rubbed me the wrong way because there's something about computer role-playing gamers, like computer RPG gamers that review games. That's always bothered me, and primarily because TTRPGs are not the same thing as computer RPGs. They're very different realities. But the one thing that I have had a concern about is whether or not the current iteration of Daggerheart is ready for long form play. Watching Age of Umbra is a pretty classic example of short form play, and it worked very well. I think this campaign is designed for short form play because we're within a window of time. But as I built it and organized it, I'm like, I don't know about long form play yet. Number one, level 10 isn't high enough level, in my opinion. We need 10 more levels. Supposedly that's coming out in the next book, I believe. They're increasing possibly the levels. I don't know if everyone's going to have the skills and the ability to build frameworks constantly. I know frameworks are designed to help the GM figure out fun ways to create worlds. But if you're brand new at this, that could be hard. That could be pretty tough. And without established lore, we've talked about this before, Bri, when we talked about Shadowrun and some of these other games where the lore is actually better than the game. Like Shadowrun, for me, the lore was always better than the game, you know.
100%.
But there's no real established lore with Daggerheart other than the way they describe the different planes of existence, you know, and the interpretation of magic and stuff like that. They do bake a little bit of what I would call vertical lore into the mechanic schism to make it creative for the players. But one of the things I'm beginning to realize is that when we do this again in the near future, when we are able to sit down and do this, I don't want to do it I want to do it in a more non-traditional way that Daggerheart kind of seems to encourage players to do. We should have built the world together. The more I read the Daggerheart framework, the more I read the Daggerheart expectation of the game, it appears that they've really designed it for the GM and the players to sit down, build the entire world together in a framework kind of idea. That way, the experiences, the backgrounds, the reasons why you know each other, all of that automatically play into the framework. It mitigates the amount of lore that I have to generate because it actually encourages
player buy-in.
Yeah, it's more about the players creating some lore as well.
I've watched, they've literally been like, "Oh, where's your character from? Where do you think that would be on the map? What is it like there?" Instead of like, "I've already made this world. Now you pick one of the places your character's from. Like, you tell me what it's like where you're from."
That was definitely, that was definitely a learning curve for me.
So if I may, because you touched on a few points, and before it gets too long and I forget everything, I'll respond to that.
Is the sun setting over there, Bri?
No,
the sun getting low?
Oops, hold on. The sun's getting real low. No, not at all. Winston, no, he's fucking around out there.
Brian tends to get a little slow. Brian tends to get a little slower as soon as the sun starts to
set. A little hulky or slower?
Slower.
Are you
a little bit of the sundowners?
No. You're such an asshole.
Even when I ran the free intro, it has all sorts of prompts in it for helping ask those questions while you're playing, because it was like, as you go through this woods, you notice there's something really different about the trees here, and then you're supposed to ask one of the players, what is it that's different about the trees?
Yeah.
Here, so you're building all that in the moment together.
Yeah. So the first thing I'll say about I don't put a lot of stock into reviewers that come from the video game RPG world, and that's all they do, because you're right, it's two totally different things, and whatever, that's all there is to say about that, in my opinion. In terms of short form and long form, I do agree with you. Overall, and I know this is going to surprise everybody, I absolutely fucking love this game. It is phenomenal. Okay, I don't have much to complain about in this game, and what I do is all fixable. I think the short form, long form, I think in its current state, it does support short form a little more, and I think mostly, to your point, because of the leveling and the caps that are on the game in those terms. But that's a super easy fix. You just have to expand those leveling options. I could even see the beauty of this game, in my opinion, is that the foundation is really, really solid. And all of these things that we're potentially talking about as negatives, I don't even want to call it negatives, but I think they're all fixable with just additional content and additional supplements, if you will. I could even see a long form and a short form version of leveling.
Brian, remind us of the character that you're playing.
So my character is Animus Faust, and he is an dual, what do you call it? Origin of an infernal fairy sorcerer, primal sorcerer. So I lost my train of thought on where I was going before. You see, you jumped in and you asked me a question. Oh no, I could even see a long form version of leveling where the leveling is slowed down just a bit, because you get a lot of options when you level.
Oh well,
there's a lot to do. So
granted, I did that on purpose because I really wanted you guys to get some of that.
I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about the speed at which you're leveling us. I'm talking about at each tier, you get a lot of options to upgrade.
You do.
So
yeah.
I think it could be made more tuned for long form, very simply with just expanding that leveling matrix.
Well, and I would agree with you, because I think that was their original intent.
Mhm.
Because if you watch Critical Role in the first season, when they transcended from what's that other game?
D&D.
No, the one before
Right.
that, Pathfinder. When they switched from Pathfinder to D&D, I'm not very note prepared tonight, so I apologize. When they switched from Pathfinder to D&D, I mean, they had already been playing for a long time with the Vox Machina characters.
Right.
They were only, I think they had already played for like a year and a half or 2 years. 2 years, I think. And their characters were only level 10.
Yeah.
So, I think, depending on the table, if there's an agreement, the table can definitely impose a very long process of leveling. And therefore, with a 10-tiered leveling system, 10 levels, with a multi-tiered layer in it, because you could say going from level 1 to level 2 is relatively easy, maybe 10 sessions, right? But going from level 2 to level 3 might end up being 20 sessions, because there's a tier that you go up, right? So, that becomes more important. And then maybe level 3 to level 4 is another 10 to 15 sessions. And I think it does have a lot of long form potential, but to Kristen's earlier point, you really, I think the old school way of building a campaign in D&D doesn't work in Daggerheart. I think it really is a true co-op. It's a true effort of everybody at the table, the GM, the players, to build the world together so that the characters just make more sense. I agree with that. Very different.
I don't disagree with that as being as having more potential.
I mean, I don't
in this
disagree
game.
with that, but you're wrong.
No, I think that you can build the world together. I don't think you have to. I actually feel like, since this game is set in a very familiar fantasy genre, okay, anybody that plays role-playing games has probably played D&D. I think that's a fair statement. And everybody, if they have played D&D, is familiar with the basic fantasy role-playing setting. So since this game does not introduce any paradigm shifting ideas on that fantasy genre, I think it doesn't need its own lore, because there is so much lore already for D&D and from movies and TVs in this genre that I think you can just apply anything to this game. I think beyond maybe just having a map and an idea of what the world is like to visualize is kind of enough to start with. I mean, you could even use, we've talked about this. You could use Forgotten Realms map. You could still use Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate and whatnot.
Well, yeah.
You can. I think it's very easy to just slap that lore on top of this. So I think I agree with both approaches.
I think you can do it either way.
Yeah, I think you can run it like a D&D campaign. Again, assuming that the long form issue is addressed. But I also think that it can be an experience where the table builds the world together. But I don't think...
Yeah, I don't think you have to say, oh, if you just want to show up and play in a world I created, we have to play D&D. And if you want to help build the world with me, we have to play Daggerheart. I think you could actually play both systems either way.
Yeah.
But this
it's basically really like, let's play D&D, but we're going to use the Daggerheart mechanics. Simple as that.
Well, I think the very first, so when I was organizing this in my head, the next time I play Daggerheart, I want to thematically do Bright. So the movie Bright from Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where it was
loved it.
Where it basically was orcs, elves, and goblins, and all the fantasy players that were in modern America, right? that's when I was starting to look around at how other people are playing Daggerheart, and the more I'm watching how other people are playing Daggerheart, the more I begin to realize they're playing it like GURPS. They're using well, you got to remember, GURPS got a bad reputation because they simplified the idea of play anything that you want to play, and then they layered heavy layers of heavy mechanics on it that it kind of killed itself without embracing the part that was really important, which is GURPS was intended to be a universal role-playing system. I mean, it was that's the title, right?
But you bring up an interesting point. If Daggerheart existed back in like 1984, I think it would have just, again, just kind of fallen through the cracks under the shadow of D&D. I think we're in a very different time today. And again,
I agree with that.
All the content and with all the sources and with how much people have connected, I think it can work. Totally.
I actually find Daggerheart easier to assume the role of a universal system.
Oh, absolutely. Then what, 5e?
Setting with this.
It's not even really about the settings and the themes, because I mean, I play in a Star Wars 5th edition game, right? So they took the 5th edition D&D rules, converted into a Star Wars game, right? So
when you make that statement, you're comparing it to 5e as using that on top of other,
right? But what I'm saying is I can take 5th edition and put it in any environment, right?
Yeah,
I can play science fiction, I can play fantasy, low fantasy.
Yeah, I get that.
I can play Turok, I could play Traveler, right? I could take 5e, right?
Yeah.
The problem is 5e is a skill heavy system, so it's a little bit more clunky to make universal. It is a little more clunky.
I agree with you. This is way easier.
The reason why I like the hope and fear system as a means of a universal system is that you could be your character, Bri, but instead of wearing a fantasy theme, you're wearing a 3-piece suit and you run a corporate sector, right? Mm-hmm. It's easy enough to work because success is hopeful and failure is fear. Mm-hmm. And success and failure are universal to any gaming system. Yeah,
so, I agree. I think
that resource to manage too. It's easier than the skill set system.
I think the reason I think that kind of goes hand in hand with why I feel that this game doesn't necessarily need its own lore is because it's closer to a universal system that you can put on top of another lore system or genre. To your point, than 5e. I would not, me personally, I'm not saying it can't be done because you do it. Me personally, I'm not taking 5e and slapping it on top of another genre. It's just too much fucking work.
I've done it before. It's really easy. But then again, I've been doing it for 45 years.
Exactly.
By the way, in my corporate world, I would take complex development teams and move them from one style of programming to another. So my brain's already wired to look at complexity.
Yeah, but you're the exception to that rule.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Jason, don't forget that they say that your favorite people there, Jeremy and Chris, are supposed to be working on a pre-published adventure for Daggerheart. That's what's coming.
You had to fucking go there.
Well, he brings up the pixel dice
all the
time, so.
You shouldn't have said that. Did you see that video I sent, Kristen? I posted it in Discord. Somebody did like a half an hour diatribe on the whole pixel thing, so I'm not the only one.
I thought Kristen sent it.
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
Gary sent it to me, and then I posted it.
I might have seen it anyway, actually.
You got to watch it because it basically...
I recently saw some guy make a video about the whole pixel dice thing.
That was probably him. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not on that subject.
But anyway, I remember when they first brought them on, they had said they're going to be working on at least a pre-published adventure for Daggerheart, which is interesting because I wonder what they're going to do about the whole, if they're just going to put prompts in there, of like, you can change this with your table if you want, but if you don't want to, you can use this content. I don't know when it's supposed to come out or anything.
Interesting. I'd be interested in seeing
it. Spooky stuff. So people thought it was maybe coming out around Halloween time.
I think, didn't Todd have them on and they were talking about that book? I think
maybe.
Todd
I don't
Kendrick
know.
still has them on. I am so. That's really a rough one for me that those two a-holes are over at that company now. I struggle. I just struggle.
I know you do.
I mean, it's like after Chamberlain comes back from Germany with Hitler's signature on it. Like the world's safe. Don't worry about it. Instead, you've got the you got the gruesome twosome who failed at D&D, failed to defend themselves at WotC, coming over with their like weak sister attitude over at Critical Role. And if I would have been interviewing or in the talks with them, I would have been, so tell me about how you defended all the people and you were willing to, burn the bridge to believe in your beliefs. Tell me about that story. They'd be like, well, my house costs $8,000 a month, so I can't really do stuff like that. Like, okay, well, F you.
How do you really feel though?
I hate those two. I hate them. Absolutely hate them.
I was supposed to be doing a romantasy. A romantasy campaign frame. I'm like, no, I'm all set with that.
Okay, that's I'm gonna just go right out on a limb right now and say that's fucking stupid.
Well, that's not what Chris Perkins is doing, but they were just saying
have fun.
Oh, it's supposed to be focusing on the Tusklove book.
I was just gonna say Tusklove.
I'm not into any of that Tusklove stuff. I didn't watch Chester and Ford Wedding or any of that. It's like every time they mention it, I just like turn it off. I'm like,
I
don't. Let's not bag. Let's stick to the game.
I don't think
you want to find out what.
You asked me. Go ahead.
I don't think we're the right demographic for that.
No, I don't think so. Not even fucking close.
Me neither.
So you asked me what my character is. So Animus Faust is a primal sorcerer, and I gotta say right off the bat, I was able to build the exact type of character I wanted to play. It's a sorcerer who is kind of like, it's, I've played this character a number of times over the past couple of years. So it's, no secret that I am drawn to this character, but it's a sorcerer. It's a caster at heart, but he's also got a rapier and a couple of swords. And he's a little kind of, scoundrel-like, roguish, kind of Han Solo, Lando Calrissian.
What does he sound like? What does he sound like when he talks?
Oh, Animus? Yeah, this is him. Animus. Yeah, he sounds like this. So, first off, I was able to build him exactly the way I wanted, with no restrictions or, you can't have a sword because you're a sorcerer, so you have to multi-class in order to do that.
Right.
No, it's like you just build what you want to build. And, the biggest, again, wrong word, but the biggest issue that I have with the game right now, and this is also completely solvable by just simply publishing more content, is the spell book is very, very light. And because it uses these domains, and I'm not saying that I don't like the spell book domain mechanics, I freaking love them. Just need more spells. Because what we've already seen after just a few sessions, even in the first session, is anybody who's a caster and shares a domain, which is very likely, everybody's taking the same spells because some spells are cooler and better than others. So that kind of goes against the build a unique character and be a little different type of thing. But again, that is such an easy. All it is like, okay, here's a hardcover book with 200 spells in it. Boom, solved.
And I think what makes that less of an issue is as you level up, you're suddenly vaulting spell cards. So the vault becomes your versatility for swapping out spell cards. But yes, very similar to other games, those low level starting points. There's not a lot of epic spell choices in low level starting points.
Yeah. So
kind of always light, no matter what system that you kind of.
I would like to see something a little more D&D like with, you have some cantrips and then just a much larger spell book. But again, like I really have nothing so far to really complain about with this game because it's all built on this foundation, and it's just, it opens up the door for supplements and more content if you want it. But do you need it? No, you can play the game as it is.
Well, and I think that actually leads me into my other concern, because it feels like third-party participation could build a lot of resource lore that people would find interesting in Daggerheart. They've slapped this licensing on it that makes it almost impossible to do that. And I'm just like, it feels so counterintuitive. It's like,
how so? I mean, I haven't read.
You keep saying that their licensing
is stuff for sale online from third parties.
You keep saying their licensing is draconian. I'm not seeing it.
You need to go read it. If you go read it and then you go to try to find, like, if you go look at third-party content that's being written for Daggerheart, it's pretty anemic, right? Mm. There's not a lot of it out there. And
now wait a second. To be fair,
no. Let me finish.
Because the game is so young.
No, because people were writing their own content when it was beta, and it was beta for an entire year. People knew what to expect. They knew what was coming.
All right.
If you go listen to the chatter of the YouTube channels, I tend to be more of a lurker and a reader than a participant. A lot of people are saying it's, if you read the licensing in Daggerheart, it's not easy to apply all their strict requirements. It's not very easy. And they're very sensitive about anything that you stray on the fine line of the difference between what they've established versus what you want to do. Now, and they mostly are only allowing what they call the open license for you to use. So, if the void, if no one's gone to it yet, if you go to daggerheart.com, there's a development section of daggerheart.com called the void, where they actively build beta activities there, beta characters, beta lore, beta origins, beta domains, and stuff like that. One of the things that's been a long-standing complaint about all open licensing agreements is, make it easy for us to interpret and make it easy for us to understand what your expectations of us creators might be. And then I'll write like crazy and have a lot of fun with it. But it's a very difficult document to interpret. You can't really use any of their logos outside of what they allow you to use. If you try to use any name brand, name recognition, or anything outside of what they allow you to use, both in title of use, content of use, and the way that you label how you're trying to sell your third-party material, they'll just get you on that alone if they don't like the way that you've done it. So there's, to me, I was expecting something a little bit more lenient because of the lack of lore and because of the open framework system that they developed. At first I thought it was because you're right, it's a younger game, right? But as I was watching it age this year, I'm going to Drive Through Studio, I'm going to the RPG drive-through thing, and I'm going out to Cobalt Press, going out to all these hosts that do third-party hosting. There's not much Daggerheart stuff out there right now. There's some, but not as much as I would have.
There's over 300 titles on Drive-Thru
RPG
for Daggerheart.
That's nothing. That is nothing. When I did that search, when I did that search during, when I did that,
sounds like a lot to me.
When I did that search,
I'm going to agree with Kristen.
Hold on. This is important. When I did that search during beta. Yeah. It was 200 titles when it was beta. I did the search again at the end of the year, and it was
300
titles. So,
So I'm gonna again be very out of character and say that I understand why they're doing that, because Critical Role is very sensitive to their image and not their image in terms of the traditional sense, but the image that they project and their sensitivity in the community and inclusivity and all that stuff. And my guess is that they are probably that locked down on their licensing to kind of keep a tighter grip on the reins in that regard, so that it fits in their vision of what this game should be. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, it's both. It's a good thing because we know that we're going to get.
I don't even think they know what that vision is yet. Like, I think they have an idea.
I think it's still developing. You know, they've gone through a couple different, plateaus of kind of their evolution in my eyes. And, they're kind of right. They've crested another plateau, and they're kind of, figuring out what their new kind of stance is, if I may. So I get it. And like I said, I like it and I don't like it. I like it because it means that what does come out should potentially be very quality and very, within the creative idea of what this game should be. But to your point, it's really hard to then create for the game, and it's hard to experience, to absorb what could be really good content from other creators. And so I can see both sides. I do feel like eventually it will have to open up a little bit, because eventually I kind of feel like there's the potential for the same thing to happen that happened with D&D, which is like, give us something new. This is just regurgitating the same shit over.
Well, it's interesting. One of the channels that I follow, and I watch them every now and then, it's called Avenue Studios. They've got a Daggerheart campaign that's going on right now called Nova Beasts. And it is set in a wasteland, post-apocalyptic modern world. But it kind of makes sense, because the wasteland effect, the apocalyptic effect, is why there's such strange creatures, roaming the world. And they don't even really name the world. It's just the apocalyptic world. So once again, it's these generic insertions of theme and idea and play without any kind of direct connection to any kind of a specific lore or anything. And I mean, I'm also inclined to believe that people, for the longest time in third-party situations, have been following the rules of which lore they can use for, like, Forgotten Realms, D&D, Pathfinder, right? They give you guide rails, right? They give you guidelines in drive-through RPG that tell you, what you can and can't do within the lore confines. You don't really have that in Daggerheart, right? You've got a much more open kind of open environment to play in. It's that classic problem when the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore, and you have all these former Soviet Union citizens. They come to America. They're used to buying one hot dog, so they think one way. They stand in front of our groceries and go, "Why do you have 24 hot dog choices?"
My wife. My wife talks about that when she first came here. She's like, "What? There's like 17 different types of cheese. It's just cheese."
And I think third-party creators are trying to figure out how they fit into the way Daggerheart fits that new third-party creator environment. It's very different. It's the first narrative environment we've truly had. 5e touches on it, gets there, sort of, but Daggerheart's very narrative. It is heavy narrative. And it's not even as heavy narrative as Candela Obscura is. I love Candela Obscura. I love that game.
I need to check that one out more. Candela.
Yeah,
I started to watch it, but I didn't finish it.
I haven't played it yet, and I'm interested to play it. I have a feeling that I will like it much less than Daggerheart.
The resource management isn't there. It's very different. The resource management is not a heavy part of the game. It's more of what you do when you reach a certain point within the game.
And I still like the as you know, I like the complementary aspect of both.
I believe it's been a while, but I believe Candela Obscura uses the degrees of success and degrees of success and degrees of failure, but they use a pure D6 system to manage the degrees of success. So like if you roll 3 6s and a 4, then it's considered that you do that with extreme success. So
Yeah.
the outcome of the narrative is affected by the outcome of that roll. If you do it with extreme failure. So once again, that's
sounds like Call of Cthulhu, because Call of Cthulhu is that, but they're percentage dice.
Yes, yeah, very similar.
Regular success or extreme.
Well, let's talk about some of the more, let's like scale in, talk about some of the mechanics of the game.
Yeah,
like you mentioned,
I don't have anything to say. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the mechanics, because for me, it's a lot easier. The GM, a lot of people have said it's hard to be a GM in Daggerheart. I got to be honest with you. If I was a brand new GM, I would immediately start playing Daggerheart, because it's fucking easy. It is super
I
easy.
didn't think it was so bad when I ran it either. I thought it was good.
Super easy.
From a player standpoint, again, I love it. I absolutely love it. The resource management aspect is phenomenal. This system addresses, and it's not perfect. Okay, I know DC 20 is still coming out that we've been talking about, and that's based on a lot of homebrew fixes for D&D. But
I'll tell you what, really quick, DC 20's character development is starting to feel more like 4E to me now. It's getting overly complex.
I haven't gone in and tried to create a character, so I don't
overly crunchy, and I'm like,
okay,
and then what's his name? Dropped his Steel or Dawn or Steel Dawn or whatever. Whatever that one is.
Yeah,
that one was like, I was having 4E flashbacks when I was reading.
Yeah, that's not good. But this one, it was surprisingly easy to create a character, and yet I still felt like I was able to create the exact character that I wanted. There were no crazy restrictions. And again, the resource management between stress and hope and what you can do with that is fucking awesome. I was finding, as soon as we started playing, and especially when we got into combat, D&D feels very like regimented and compartmentalized. It's like, okay, here's what I can do in my action, and it's these few things. Here's what and then I can move. Here's what I can do in my bonus action. One affects the other, yada, yada, yada. There's none of that in here. It's like I can basically,
like you're allowed to be more creative when you're trying.
It's like, what do you want to do? I mean, you can, you have an action, but you can do anything you freaking want with it.
They even acknowledge that if your action is a narrative effect, then that consumes your action. So they want, so if you're narratively trying to accomplish something, and the GM goes, cool, that's your action. Give me a non-hope or non-fear roll versus this, versus this attribute, and then we can determine the level of degrees of success. If it was, so there's a lot more options without them being forced on you.
It just feels like you can play your character the way you want to play your character, not the way you have to play it. And there's a big difference.
And watching you guys play, especially watching Zach playing Denver, a true melee class in this game actually can be a true melee now, because with the way that they've mitigated the interpretation of range, you have these abilities now that say anybody who's in very close range, you can spend a stress and do this. So there's a lot more emphasis on AoE effects of fighter types and martial class.
Right.
Whereas with casters, you're also getting a lot more AoE effects, because you can do you can spend a stress, or you can spend a prayer dice, or you can spend a chaos dice, and you can do a spell that affects anybody within close range. Well, there could be 10 people within close range.
Yeah,
that's a pretty powerful thing to do all of a sudden,
I thought that I was going to have a problem with kind of the more freeform aspect of the game in terms of especially initiative and the ranges, and the ranges didn't seem to bother me at all.
Well,
and
keep in mind, on that note, one of the things I decided to do, because there were a lot of new players to the game, is whenever you move in range between a difference of 2, you're supposed to make an agility check. I took that out because I felt it unnecessarily slowed things down. The combat board's already tight enough for now. That you're not really doing that many differences of range anyways.
I would keep that mechanic in, but for this purpose, I think you made the right call, given that this is
right.
Eventually I would keep it in.
Sure.
But you know, I was just one more thing, and then I'll shut up because I want to hear your take also, Kristen. You know, the one thing also is you know, it's like I can't tell you how many times, you know, as GMs we hear in D&D, like, so are you doing anything else? Well, I don't have any bonus actions, so I guess I'm done, you know? With that kind of dejected, like, tone of voice. And this, as long as you keep rolling with hope, I mean, you could, one person could act 5 times in a turn, and you cast a spell every fucking 5 times. If the party agrees, you could even go twice in a row. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so much better.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Kristen?
So my 3 favorite mechanic things are experiences, because you can decide whether you want to use them or not. You get to decide whether they apply or not. They tie into your backstory and they're hugely narrative. So I really like experiences a lot. I also really like damage thresholds. And before I played, I didn't know if I was going to like it or not. Because I was like, you mean I only ever get to do 1, 2, or 3 hit points of damage? But I really do like having the thresholds and being able to spend armor to like drop it down if you want, having that option. The other thing I like is the fact that now we've leveled up a few times, and the things that I've chosen have given me more cards, and I like the fact that I have to decide which 5 cards I'm going to have in play, because I now have 7 cards.
Right.
So I have to put 2 of them in the vault. But I also like the fact that they have like a recall cost on them, and you can literally just pay the recall cost in the middle of combat to swap them back out. You don't have to wait for like a long rest to like spell back out if you decided to not learn it that day.
I think that becomes the number one currency for stress as you get up in levels. Stress becomes more important to you, because if you really want that versatility to in combat, you can spend stress to pull cards out of the vault and do swaps. The other thing I like about what you're saying, Kristen, is that a lot of players get frustrated when they're in a long form campaign in D&D, and they're like, they never can get their spell list right because they never quite know what they're always expecting.
Like, oh, I didn't know we were going to fight this today. I didn't prepare that stuff. You can literally just pay the cost and swap it out.
Which, once again, D&D is easily fixable, and we've fixed a lot of that. I think Critical Role made the biggest fix to it, and that's when Matt declared all cantrips bonus actions. The moment that Matt introduced that as a homebrew rule, it completely changed what people could do if they didn't have any other bonus action option. And I think that really opened up people's perspective to changes to the game. I think the Shadow Dark spellcasting system is brilliant.
I don't know how that one works. I'll have to check
it's a lot of fun. I actually homebrewed it into our Sunday game, and all the casters are having a blast because they're now able to use spells that they never thought they'd be able to use. And not only is it fun and powerful again, but there is danger if you overdo it. And at first we're like, but now that we're high enough level, it's going to be easy to beat these levels. But you're casting level 9 spells. You're still having to roll a 19 or higher to get that cast off. You know, so it's like, it really invites danger. It invites a lot more excitement and fun. It gives people a lot more. If you're going to multi-class now, there's real value in multi-classing as a caster now, because you get rid of those restrictions.
And I think that's
playing in a movie. You know, like you ever watch a movie where there's heroes in the movie and they're like, darn, I couldn't do the thing I wanted to do. Because that's boring to watch in a movie.
Totally. And I think this aspect supports the need for more spells and a larger spell book because, and I could even see, like you level up. Well, yeah, but I could even see like you level up and you get a domain card, but maybe there is a class of cantrips, and instead of one domain card, if you do cantrips, you get 2 for that level, so you build up your spell book. And to your point, Kristen, like how cool would it be if in that once in a campaign, perfect instance of needing like a grease spell that nobody ever fucking has prepared, because when are you going to fucking use it? Right? But that one time it's there and you can use it, maybe you got to pay a couple stress to get it out of your vault, but yeah. The magic system, I think, is one of the best parts of this.
Another thing I really like that we actually haven't used yet, I don't know, Jason, if you allow it in your games, because we haven't really had it come up, is the tag team rules.
I've been waiting for someone to try it.
I totally forgot about that.
Is so awesome because you both roll. You get to take whichever roll is better to apply to both of you, and then you both get to roll damage, and all the damage counts.
Yeah.
We haven't done that yet. I totally forgot about that.
I think the most fun part about tag team is when it fails. Because when tag team fails, it's spectacular. It is super
imagine if you have to roll twice, maybe someone actually succeeds, but they succeed with fear, and maybe the other roll fails, but with hope. So it's like, okay, well, do we want to take the success?
Yeah.
Turn it over to the DM, or do we want to actually accept the failure and keep control of the battlefield? So
the flexibility is phenomenal. Kristen, tell us. So, what is your character? We said mine. What is yours? And Alex, if you want to jump in,
right? Absolutely, he should. I am playing Invictus Stormguard, and she is a seraph, which I think is kind of like isn't it the Daggerheart kind of version of a paladin?
Correct.
Yeah. So, and I actually did the mixed ancestry as well because I could not decide between a Galapagos, which is a turtle, or a clank. So I made her both, which allows you. Each ancestry has 2 abilities to it, and you are allowed to take the top one of one and the bottom one of the other. Yeah. So I mixed the fact that I am made out of stone. But she has a shell. So the shell gave me, I think it was more damage threshold. I can't remember off the top of my head what the clank part actually.
Oh my god, your damage thresholds are like
they're really high right now. They're 21 and 39 for damage threshold.
So mine, just for comparison, is 16 and 32, and that's after leveling up to fit to 5.
The Seraph in Daggerheart fixes the paladin problem. The paladin problem in D&D. Well, no, the paladin problem in D&D
is that suck.
Well, no, after the 3rd round, you're pretty much just an okay fighter.
I see.
Yeah, they're a one-trick pony.
And the only other trick when you're not an okay fighter
Smite.
is if you have any well, no, because if you run out of spell slots as rules is written. Yeah. So
Smite. I level up.
Yeah, she has smite.
Nice.
So, paladins, rules as written in raw form, right? Tend to be stuck with level 1, level 2. Eventually, I think they get up to level 3 spell slots to use as their smite effect. But, in the first 3 rounds of combat with a paladin, if you're not dumping all your smite and doing shit tons of damage every time you hit, you're not really being the paladin that D&D has forced you to be.
I tried playing a paladin.
And when you're done doing that, you're either kind of doing okay as a fighter, or you're reserving your lay on hands to keep people on their feet.
Yeah, I tried playing a paladin recently within the past year or so, and I fucking hated it.
Really?
Because again, I like characters that are more complex and give you options, and a paladin is just like you just set it on autopilot.
Yeah,
and it's just not for me. I don't like them.
What sold me on the Seraph was the prayer dice, because I also really like being a support character that can help out other people. And so in Daggerheart, at the beginning of each session, I get to roll a number of d4s equal to my spellcasting trait, which right now is 3. And I get to save whatever came up on those dice to spend anytime during the session. It resets each session.
Mm-hmm.
Either reduce incoming damage, add to a die roll after the roll is made, or give somebody hope equal to what's on the die. So if somebody's out of hope,
well, didn't you use it to heal some of my stress?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Now that's my foundation feature. But when we just leveled up, I actually took the next level up. I took the specialization, and it allows me to roll 4 d4s, throw out the lowest one, and keep the 3 high.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
And I went and grabbed another card, and I grabbed Smite, which costs 3 hope to charge it. And then the next successful attack, I get to do double damage.
Now, see, that right there is versatility. Because if you read that card, it's not saying the next time you successfully hit, like it says in D&D, right? It says upon your next successful attack.
Yep.
So you may have that smite charged and ready to go, but perhaps you pass the spotlight to another player.
Yeah.
But you're charged, you're ready to go.
to
So if you have hope, if you roll with if the other person that you meta with rolls with hope, and it sets you up perfectly for that smite that's going to finish off that tough adversary, right?
And I don't lose it being charged if I fail because it says successful. Do you lose
it? Just says your next successful attack.
Smite in D&D.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it? I don't
know.
Yeah,
it is a wasted smite because
no, because a smite you can apply instantaneously.
You can apply it instantaneously, but I mean, still your restriction is your spell slots. So it's like
I don't know about the D&D one, but this says it will do magic damage regardless of the weapon's damage type. So it turns
it smite is
that's the same thing in D&D.
It's called radiant damage in D&D.
Oh, sure.
A regular smite, the specialized smites like searing smite, all of those. You
fire.
You actually cast, and then it's the next time you hit. A regular smite is just an instantaneous. You just say, "I'm going to add smite."
Yeah.
Kristen, what are your? So you talked about experiences real quick.
Yeah.
So my experiences, I've got 4 of them now, and it's really cool. Yeah. So my first one is student of the occult.
Nice. I like that.
And my other 3 are catchphrases. First one is, "Trust me, I'm a professional."
Yep.
Second one is, "Have I got a deal for you?"
Well, I like that one.
And the third new one is, "I have a bad feeling about this."
See, this is what I love about these.
What are yours?
Social situations. You could apply them to combat.
Yeah.
You can apply them everywhere. So I didn't really use any phrases. I just kind of took some like examples I found in the book, and I was like, oh, I could see how that could fit in social situations or in combat. So I called minor incredible strength, bodyguard, intimidating presence, and mentally strong.
Oh, so you're like,
I did like
awesome.
A little bit of everything that could be used. And I have one of them still at +2. Some of them I've leveled up. So 2 of them are at +3, and my incredible strength is already at +4.
And see, what's nice about that experience.
Wait, how'd you level your experiences?
It's one of the options.
It's an option as you level up.
Maybe you missed it because you're supposed to do it. So when you go to level 2, gain an experience at +2. Where was it? There was somewhere where you get to.
Well, the demo plane has an active guide that shows you what you can and can't do. So
I may have to read that because I did make. Go ahead.
I got it from somewhere. I know it said it was an upgrade when we leveled up. One of the options was to level up your permanently gain a +1 bonus to 2 experiences.
I don't think I saw that.
It's one of the options that you can choose when you level up.
Maybe I read it too quick and I thought it said choose another experience. I'm going to go through again and look at leveling, because again, it's awesome because leveling, you get so many options. It's another thing. It's not like D&D where it's like, 4th level, I get nothing. 5th level, great. 6th level, it's like
you don't really get anything. You get really good stuff every time, and you get to choose it. Leveling in this to me feels more like leveling in like Powered by the Apocalypse or Monster of the Week, because it's almost like pick making more options in your playbook.
Yeah.
But everybody, but a lot of people like have the same ones to choose from. But I mean, you can you can get another stress slot. You can get another HP slot. You can up
I'm up to 9 stress slots now.
Nice. I have 8. And that's a good one. Like if you have a lot of cards that spend a lot of stress, but you don't find that you're using your hope abilities that much, like you can choose when you level up to like grab some more stress slots instead.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that like as of right now, we only have 6 hope slots. So you're encouraged to not hold on to them. Like go ahead and spend them willy-nilly.
Yes.
You're going to be getting more possibly every time you roll, and you don't want to roll with hope and you can't take it because you haven't spent any.
Unless you're in combat, then you're still happy that you're rolling with hope because then your team keeps to get going. So what's really funny, and this will be the last part I say about the initiative aspect, because watching you guys try to figure that out, I now understand why the initiative. I now understand the idea of the origin of building the characters, where you kind of specifically call out how you know each other, or you have you have these little call outs that say, what about me that you like the most because of something I did, right? So you have these little things that you write down to understand why you already kind of know each other or are familiar with each other. I think that establishes that first idea of good meta and good creative meta. Because when you start transitioning into the fact that this game doesn't have initiative, you begin to realize that this game is very heavy on the idea of good and creative meta. Like very few games encourage meta. This game does encourage meta, but it kind of re-educates you around the fact that it wants you to practice the art of good meta. Don't tell me what to do. Ask me what you think we should do. Or, hey, I'm not going to tell you to do this. What do you think about us doing this together? Like,
because you can be like, hey, if you do this first, it's going to make my move better when I do this. You want to do that? You know what I mean?
If it fails, it's a shared failure. It's not an isolated failure. So if like 3 of the players are like, oh, this is perfect. You do that AoE, I'll do that AoE, and then you do that AoE, and then we'll just wipe out this group. We got this. We can do this easy.
Yep. So it doesn't matter like, oh, it's not my turn yet, because there are no turns.
Right.
You can be like, hey, this time you go before me.
But when that person rolls, they roll with fear.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, oh, shit, I rolled with fear.
Right.
Well, then the 4th player who wasn't involved in the idea of doing that because they were holding back a little bit goes, I have an ability I can spend free stress and turn that fear into a hope.
Like Brian has.
Right. And then that pulls in somebody else's opportunity to play good meta because now they're like, great. So mine goes off. The next person rolls with fear again, like they roll with fear. Then it's up to the other player to decide, well, I've got more stress. I can turn it into hope. Are you guys sure about this? And they're like, yeah, we can do this. We can do this. And sure enough, the third person's AoE goes off and the 7 adversaries get wiped out. Right. Because they've got, so many wounds or, so many hit points of damage already. And so I now that I see the reason why they took initiative out of the game, it's because they always intended this game to actually encourage meta. Yeah. It's just they wanted to train you into the idea of playing good meta versus bad meta.
Right.
And I think we spend, as GMs in D&D, we spend a lot of time reminding people, hey, there's a difference between good and bad meta.
Yes.
And we tend to focus more on the bad meta in D&D as opposed to the idea of encouraging people to, think about what good meta really is.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think they balanced the two really well of being able to do that, but still having a solid mechanical foundation. Which is what I like.
Yeah. That's why I have a lot of hope for the long form. That's why I do have a lot of hope for the long form.
Yeah, me too. I like the fact that we're rolling D12s because we have to deal with the hope and fear. But the GM is actually rolling D20s, right? Because you don't have to worry about hope and fear. Just getting fear.
Finally, after 40 years, the D12s finally get their love.
I know, right? Well, then the cool thing is because we're using like a lower die, but have 2 of them. And they're getting added together. You can potentially roll up to a 24,
Mm-hmm.
Also, quite a few abilities somebody can have, kind of like yours, Brian, where you can say, "Oh no, change it from roll with fear to roll with hope." There's a few abilities you can get where I have one. I forget what it's called off the top of my head, where I can change one of my D12s to a D20. Therefore,
That's cool.
like increasing the odds that I'm going to roll with hope.
Yeah.
What the hell was it? It was so because I'm Orderborn, that's my community is Orderborn.
Uh-huh.
I have 3 sayings or values from my upbringing, and I chose justice, protection, and compassion. I haven't used this yet in the game because I haven't found a spot where it came up. When I can describe, only once per rest, but when I can describe how I'm embodying one of those principles through my current action, I can swap out my hope die with a D20. So my hope die will be a D20 and my fear die is still a D12.
Nice.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
So I like the fact that it's not the biggest die in there. It's
Yeah.
like the
I
next
think-
one down because you can have opportunities to upgrade it.
You
Yeah.
know, Alex always busy because of his son, and I know he's listening. But I know, so a couple things I like about Alex's character.
Oh yeah.
He's playing a witch, which was one of the newer characters developed in the Void, the beta development. He actually did exactly what you said, Kristen. He was able to cast that effect like 3 different times.
I remember him doing that. Yeah,
where
awesome.
he was rolling a D20 instead of a D12 because he knew his odds were going to be better with that D20 versus the D12 of the fear.
Right. Means
And it really got me to thinking that I think where this really hits all the marks for you, Brian, because we've known each other for so long and we've talked about disappointment and we've talked about games that interest us and stuff, is that I have no control over your resources. I have 0 control, none. I have no ability to impact your resources whatsoever. But in most other games, I can impact the order of play. I can impact the core difficulty check. I can impact things that make you feel like I don't really ever feel like I'm in control anymore because it feels like the DM's always in control. And I think the GM role in Daggerheart is so cooperative and so narrative and so meta focused that the players finally feel like they can be their characters now. They have 100%. Control over stress. They have control over the use of their armor. Like Dunver, Zach is a classic example of someone who's only been playing TTRPGs for a year and a half. Only a year and a half. But he is so super smart. He has figured out the ratio of how you stack your resources to get that level of longevity that you need to get out of a session. And I think the arena combat proved how much fun the resources are because you guys didn't get a short rest. Like you fought that one group at the beginning and then came back for session 2, fought the ice spiders, and then fought the ravagers. It wasn't like you got a short rest. You literally had to manage those resources knowing that you were possibly going to be incurring more resource expenditures and extended combat.
Well, there's also multiple ways to get those resources back. You know,
it's within the confines of the mechanic.
Right. Exactly. In D&D, let's talk about spell slots. You go through your spell slots like, well, great, now I'm fucking useless.
Yep. Or you pull out your wand of fireballs and hope that it's enough to keep you alive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is why, and I think the number of times I've played this game and watching the characters that people choose to make, they are the antithesis of the typical characters in D&D.
Totally.
Like, we have a witch, we have your infernal fairy sorcerer, right? I mean, that's deep cuts right there. That's super deep cuts. And Orderborn Seraph, I mean, these are not like the safe fighter rogue kind of things you could start with just to make it easier on yourself. I mean, you can pick a complex character and not be overwhelmed by what it can do.
No, it was surprisingly easy to get the gist of how to play the character. I mean, it took a couple of turns for me. That's really kind of it.
I had I want to show you guys this for next session, give you a peek.
I like reading through all the different cards, find something that sounds
Yeah.
really amazing, and you don't have to be like, oh, I have to be this to use that. There's two types of characters that share the access to the card. So it's like, oh, I could be this instead if I don't want to be this and still get that ability.
Oh, Jason, that's awesome.
Oh, very nice.
So this was and what was cool, or when we do play this, these are sandstorms that move.
Oh,
that's cool.
So the reason why I wanted to share this is because one of the things that has really changed my world building, it's even affected how I play D&D, is I love this idea that the environment matters. Like for the longest time, we were limited in our thought process of how we thought the environment mattered in D&D. Maybe if it's raining, it takes longer to travel. Right. The roads are muddy, so there might be more random monsters. If the seas are rough, it's longer to travel by sea. If there's a storm, it's longer. There's always been this idea that the environment of D&D is this kind of mundane weather environment that affects things. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that the framework development for Daggerheart gives you, it's like you remember those columns of light that were described to you guys? Uh-huh. Those are the only places you can rest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that idea directly from Age of Umbra.
Right. Yep.
Right. I love the idea of that. Right.
Yeah.
Well, these sandstorms, when they get a move. So it's an environmental effect where I roll a random D4.
That's awesome.
A 1 is north, a 2 is south, a 3 is east, and a 4 is west.
And do you have to spend fear to move them?
Yes, I do have to spend fear for environmental
to spend resources to activate the things that the environments can do.
So I also do what's called a counter die. So you remember when I said a counter was started last session? That brought in the sandstorms. So as the fight is going to get started, these random sandstorms are going to move across the battlefield, and they turn terrain into everything that's close is now far, or everything that's very close is now close. So it changes the perceptive range.
Wow, that was pretty lucky that I happened to choose as a level up option the spell see and move through sand without issue.
Right.
You're so full of crap.
If this game was made by Avalon Hill, that random direction die for those sandstorms would be a 360 sided die.
Right.
Oh God. Yeah, I remember they using the stuff in Age of Umbra too. Like at one point they had to cross a river, and Matt spent fear to activate the rapids.
Yeah.
Immediately whisked Travis like hundreds of feet down river, and he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
I love all
Very
the
cool
things you can do.
So one of the and one of the ways that's influenced the D&D game is now when players take a short rest in a town that has their bastion in it, all short rests in that town are now a long rest. If their bastion is an airship, then whenever they take a short rest in the airship, they get a long rest. Or if they're in a town that that sees them as heroic figures, all persuasions are with advantage within the town. So I've started to lace in these additional background environmental effects to really kind of encourage like both a reward system and a danger system at the same time, without it having to be too clunky or too heavy. Probably the best system, the best thing in the world that I kind of use in subtle ways through the charisma save process is I like to use Cthulhu's madness system a little bit. I like Cthulhu's madness system says the more interactions with things that are driving you mad makes you mad, like causes you to go mad, right? So the more it happens. So, well, I'm going to spill a long 8-9 year secret here since I became a professional DM. I keep a track of every single person's charisma save. So the number of charisma failures determines the possibility of madness happening.
That's awesome.
So, like, I know exactly how many times Brian has failed and succeeded in charisma saves, and I can use that as an environmental, like, arc, or I can use it as a way to encourage a backstory, you know. And so I've been really kind of like open to the framework piece of Daggerheart and how, you know, they really want you to use the environment in many different ways, you know, and allow the environment to be a player, like allow the environment to kind of be that perfect NPC, which we all know that my use of NPCs is narrative player character, not non-player character, because I don't understand why they call it a non-player character when
didn't
NPCs
we both come up with that?
No, it was all me, baby. All me.
No, it was both of us.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Brian claimed copyright because he wanted to copyright it. That's all he did.
All right, roll initiative. It's on.
But I think a lot of the homebrew aspects in our D&D game have saved D&D for all of us.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that, because I told you I've been getting a little burned out on D&D.
Yeah, the dungeon coach, I give credit where credit is due. Dungeon coach, developed the 4AP system as his D&D homebrew. Completely changed the nature of the game. It is so much funner. It's more fluid. The combat's more streamlined. Critical rolls matter now because, you know, gambler's luck and max damage is used, you know, within critical rolls. So, like, when you roll those natty 20s, they matter now. There's nothing worse than rolling a natural 20 and the DM says, go ahead and roll 2 dice or times it by 2, your choice, right? That's the traditional damage roll for, you know, a maximum. Well, I rolled 2 1s, so I did 7 points. Yeah, it's stupid.
It doesn't make any sense that you would score a critical hit and do barely any damage.
Right. So the idea of taking all of your rollable dice, maximizing them to their max damage, and then re-rolling the dice again feels like you rolled a natural 20. It just changes so much.
We did it for the, like, our D&D game. We did, if you crit, you would technically be doing double the dice, but we would assume one set of the dice rolled its max.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
That's
roll
max
the
crit.
other set. Yeah,
that's max crit.
So much better.
Yeah.
So much better. I think Daggerheart has also proven that the DC system is here to stay. I think it's a universal component of modern gaming now, that this difficulty check system just clicks off a lot of the boxes of how you create balance in a game.
Yeah.
And I think ever since the DC system rolled out, and it has just made it a lot easier to develop skill systems around it. And I think the one thing I appreciate that Daggerheart did, though, is they took that tall list of skills, got rid of them, and you just have your traits.
Yeah.
And these individual traits determine outcomes.
Yeah, I thought again, because, you know, I like complicated skill trees. I thought again that would bother me. So far, it hasn't.
Yeah, I love that all we have is just the modifier. You don't have an actual score, so it's not like, oh, do I want to increase this score or that score? And, well, if I'm not increasing it by 2, the modifier is not going to change this time.
And when you level up, they give you an option when you level up to pick, you know, and obviously in the level up, you're going to pick, if you're a caster, you're going to pick your primary spellcasting ability. You should be leveling that up on occasion, you know, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
But also, in the Ascendant, I'll give a little insight. So the Guardian, the final Guardian to get up into the mountain to deliver the Ascendant,
spoilers,
to deliver the Chosen, is a dragon. And let me just tell you, developing a Daggerheart adversary dragon has been a lot of fun for me.
Nice.
This guy is gonna kill all of you. He is a bucket of armor. He is a bucket of stress. He has 6 different special abilities that he can call on. It's just that's the fun part for me. Once again, building adversaries, or in D&D terms, monsters, or villains, or whatever you're building, the way I can do thresholds and spend stress and use fear to activate special abilities and activate environments that coincide with their special abilities, really makes it a lot of fun. That's the reason why I wanted you guys to level up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
because I'm enjoying throwing more challenging monsters at you.
Yeah, it's awesome
to see if your character versatility holds up. You know what I mean? Like,
does Daggerheart, does it have anything that's similar to legendary actions?
I don't
that, like dragons have in D&D?
I don't think so. I haven't really read.
Those are what those things like have to recharge and stuff, don't they? Or
they
just automatically work sometimes without a roll.
But like in the adversary system, they encourage a tiered system. So like as you guys are gaining tiers, the adversaries are gaining tiers as well. So they're in a new tier that makes them so like when you're tier 1,
trade off, like do you have to trade off whether they get more abilities or stronger abilities? You like have to choose like, well,
not really, because I use the core intent of the rule, which is if you're going to give them armor and you're going to give them stress, then you're going to develop abilities that may, like if the dragon spends 3 fear, he can choose to ignore his damage threshold during a certain period of time, right? So I could spend 3 fear and all the damage that you guys did to him is ignored.
Oh my gosh! See, we're getting all the secrets about this dragon right now.
I do want to say, and I know we're probably getting close.
Well, really quick. The big thing about tiered adversaries is that as the adversaries tier up, it increases the number of damage dice they can throw. So a tier 4 dragon can roll 4 damage dice per attack. So just like you guys can start throwing more damage dice because you go up in tier as well.
Right.
Oh, my sword attack right now is actually at 3d10 plus 9.
Right, because you're tier 3, right?
And that's a sword with a sorcerer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like
which is awesome.
Very awesome.
I do want to.
A sorcerer wouldn't be able to use a weapon. Gandalf.
Well, it's like that's the
why
example I always
Gandalf
use.
Wizard. I always considered Gandalf a sorcerer because or even like a cross between
Gandalf multiclassed.
Well, technically Gandalf in the Middle Earth lore
Multiclassed.
Gandalf was the traditional fighter wizard class.
I got you.
Yeah, that's why.
Again, in D&D, you've got to engineer the fuck out of that. In this, you just build a caster and give him a fucking sword.
But it kind of proves the point about multi-classing in D&D. He was a kind of okay wizard and a kind of meh fighter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He wasn't really good at either one.
Exactly. You give up a lot to be able to play the type of character you want.
But at Daggerheart, you could literally come out of the gate being a caster with a sword. Right out of the gate, you could set that up. Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah. So the last thing, I know we're getting...
Wait, hold on. I think I cut off Kristen. Did I cut you off, Kristen?
No, I'm good.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I know we're probably getting close to wrapping up, but I did want to call out also another mechanic that I really, really love, which is only a handful of hit points and thresholds. And the way they did that, I am so sick and tired of 150 hit point characters.
All right.
And, it's just...
Minus 27. Hit you for 35. Dumb. It's like you go, okay, let me math. Hold on. Where's the calculator?
Yeah, so the way that you have the armor and the threshold, and you take a couple of points here, 1 here, maybe 2 here, maybe 3 here, it feels so much more, like we've talked about this. When you're a high level character with 150 hit points, you can face pretty much anything, and at least for a turn or two, if not more, feel like, oh, I'm invincible. I can take an 80-point fireball to the face, big deal. In this, every hit, you are deciding, should I mitigate that with armor? Can I, so that fear of damage is much more prevalent in this system, which I absolutely love.
Plus, it makes more sense that once your armor slots are used up, hey, your armor's probably so damaged that the damage is going right through to you. It just makes more sense.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
Yeah.
All right, well, we hit that. We
love it.
We hit that hour and a half mark. So we are off next week. We are hoping to play New Year's Day. So because I've got nothing planned New Year's Day.
I'm good New Year's Day.
Me too.
I know most people don't really do anything on New Year's Day. Typically,
lounge around. Might as well play.
It is whether not able to do anything at home, right? I don't know if they're going to be home or not.
Sure,
is the only thing I don't know yet.
So
so I get the feeling we're at 50% probability that we'll play on New Year's Day. As long as I have a quorum of 4 players, we'll play.
Okay.
It doesn't really work that well because with 3 players because we don't really know how to run other people's players really all that well, and it's kind of weird. So as long as we have 4 people who show up to play, we'll play. So
cool. Awesome.
Obviously encourage that in the Discord and get people talking. However, everybody else, thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. This was a very informal kind of post-op of the game so far. But everyone, please safe, be kind. You guys go ahead and linger so we can chat. Everyone else out there, don't forget, play a game. See you guys later.
Have a great holiday.
Have a good holiday, everybody.
Bye.